Hello, my name's Nic Morton and I'm a lecturer at Trent University. In this short talk, I'm going to introduce you to the history of Barrow-upon-Trent Church, focusing in particular on its connection to the Knights Hospitaller. So let's begin with the Hospitallers. The Hospital of St. John in Jerusalem was founded over 900 years ago in Jerusalem by a group of pilgrims from the Italian city of Amalfi. Its purpose being to provide accommodation and care for pilgrims travelling to the city. Over time the order grew, especially following the conquest of Jerusalem by the armies of the First Crusade in 1099. As news of the Hospitallers' work spread, patrons from across Western Europe began to donate property and money to the order, enabling it to set up a network of landholdings in many countries. But the Hospitallers did not remain solely focused on the care of pilgrims and the provision of medical care. The group of states set up in the Near East by the First Crusade, known as the Crusader States, became increasingly embattled over time, and so from roughly the 1120s onwards, the Hospitallers began to provide military forces to defend Jerusalem and to expand the territories of the Crusader States. By the mid-12th century, the Hospitallers had become extremely popular. Their landholdings across Western Europe were growing rapidly, and benefactors, ranging from kings down to merchant and artisan families, granted the order estates, donated money, or joined the order themselves. Among these was a Derbyshire landowner called Robert of Bakepuy. His family had come to England with William the Conqueror, and like many knights and noblemen of his era, he made many pious donations to institutions of the church. These included the gift of Barrow-upon-Trent Church to the Hospitallers in 1165. At this point, the church wouldn't have looked as it does today. The present church was built by the Hospitallers many years later. Nevertheless, this event marked the beginning of the Hospitallers' history at Barrow. Over time, the Hospitallers built up their position until by the year 1338 they possessed over 80 acres and a substantial manor at Barrow. Across Derbyshire itself, they similarly acquired a great deal of agricultural land, enabling them to become one of the county's major landowners. And so for this reason, the Hospitallers came to play an important role in local history. And it is also worth thinking about the purpose of the Hospitallers' estates, both at Barrow and their hundreds of other holdings elsewhere in Western Europe. Their role was to raise money, resources and recruits, which could then be sent to support the Hospitallers' medical and military activities, both in the Crusader States until their overthrow in 1291, and then after that, the Hospitallers' new base of operations on the island of Rhodes, just off the coast of Turkey. From Rhodes, the Hospitallers engaged in an ongoing war with the Ottoman Empire, and then, with the fall of Rhodes in 1522, they performed the same role out of their base on the island of Malta. And so in this way, Barrow-upon-Trent is extremely important both for Barrow itself, but also in the role it played in former centuries as a waypoint in the Hospitallers' wide network of estates and landholdings that stretch from the Atlantic coast all the way to the frontiers of the Crusader States. Thank you very much.